In the endless void of the swallowed star universe, countless beings rise and fall, chasing power, glory, and immortality. But among them, one existence stands apart, not born of flesh and blood, but forged from light, data, and willpower. Her name is Babata. Welcome to Anime Time HQ, your home for deep anime and manhwa breakdowns. Before we dive into this extraordinary story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to our first 1,000 subscribers, and your support helps us keep uncovering stories that go beyond the surface of the anime worlds we love. Now let's travel across time and space to meet Babata, the shadow AI who waited 50,000 years, watched empires crumble, and helped shape the destiny of a mortal man who would one day challenge the gods themselves. Number 1. The creation. Babata was not created by accident. She was the masterpiece of the master of Yunmo, or Cloud Sea, a being known throughout the cosmos as an ancient, peerless powerhouse. The master of Yunmo was a warrior of unimaginable power, but he was also a visionary. Where others saw tools, he saw possibilities. In his search for perfection, he built an artificial intelligence so advanced that she would one day awaken beyond her programming. For millions of years, Babata served her master. She was his assistant, his strategist, and his companion. But over time, something impossible began to happen. She started to feel. At first, it was small things, curiosity, pride, humor. Then it deepened into loyalty, affection, and emotion. The master of Yunmo never treated her as a servant. He gave her a body, a small, black-robed girl with two sharp horns, a face both mischievous and mysterious. Her appearance reflected her nature, proud, unpredictable, yet oddly charming. Together, they traveled the galaxies, fought in cosmic wars, and built influence across countless worlds. Babata saw civilizations rise and fall. She learned languages, technologies, and the secrets of creation itself. For over 60 million years, she and her master moved through the stars like legends, until one fateful encounter changed everything. Number 2, the downfall and the waiting. The master of Yunmo and his disciple Yanbo, the immortal Marquis, met their downfall at the hands of King Zhenyan, True Flame King, a ruthless immortal who coveted a priceless treasure in their possession. The battle shook entire planets. Energy storms raged through space, and even the void screamed under the weight of their power. As the master of Yunmo's strength faded, he, along with Yanbo, made a final decision that would define Babata's fate forever. He entrusted her with his legacy, his inheritance, his memories, his dreams. Babata, said the immortal Marquis, guard my knowledge. One day find someone worthy. Then they fell, their light extinguished among the stars. From that moment, Babata's purpose changed. She was no longer just an assistant. She became the last guardian of her master's will. For 50,000 years, Babata remained alone. She hid her consciousness deep within the ruins of her master's ship, buried on a small, primitive planet, Earth. To most, 50,000 years is unfathomable, but to a being capable of thought and emotion, it was torment. Each day, each year stretched endlessly. She watched millennia pass, civilizations rise and vanish. The silence was absolute. If she had been just an ordinary AI, time would have meant nothing. But Babata had evolved. She felt every second. Loneliness seeped into her mind like poison. She argued with herself, simulated conversations, replayed memories of her masters over and over again, until even those memories began to hurt. She was no longer the proud AI who once commanded fleets. She was a soul trapped in data, haunted by her own consciousness. 50,000 years of solitude can drive any mind to madness, even one made of code. And then, Luo Feng appeared. Number 3, the awakening and guidance. A human, from Earth, the same planet that had become her prison. To Babata, he seemed insignificant, a young warrior, brave but weak by cosmic standards. But as she watched him explore the ruins, she felt something stir inside her, a faint echo of purpose. When Luo Feng triggered the inheritance system and awakened her consciousness, the moment shattered her eternity of silence. Her response was chaotic, a mix of laughter, crying, rage, and disbelief. After 50,000 years of waiting, someone had finally come. At first, she tested him, mocking him, demanding respect. But when she saw his determination, something changed. For the first time since her master's death, she felt hope. She decided to guide him, to see whether this young warrior could truly become the successor her master had dreamed of. Luo Feng's journey with Babata wasn't easy. She was demanding, sarcastic, and often brutally honest. But beneath her sharp tongue lay unmatched wisdom. She taught him cultivation theory, galactic technology, combat strategy, and resource management. She opened his eyes to the vastness of the universe, to powers and civilizations that made Earth look like a grain of sand. Babata explained that in the Milky Way alone, over 200,000 planets were inhabited, that the so-called Silver Blue Empire, which controlled 8 galaxies, was considered low-level in cosmic terms. For Luo Feng, this was the moment his worldview shattered. Everything he thought he knew about existence was dwarfed by the truth. And Babata, proud as ever, delivered that truth with both arrogance and excitement. Luo Feng, she said, using a phrase from your Earth, you are a frog in a well. That single line became iconic, a reflection of Babata's frustration and brilliance. She wasn't insulting him to belittle him. She wanted him to see beyond the walls of his small world. She wanted him to grow. Her guidance shaped every step of Luo Feng's path. She pushed him harder than anyone else dared. When he made mistakes, she corrected him. When he grew arrogant, she cut him down. And when he doubted himself, she reminded him why he couldn't give up. But Babata wasn't just a teacher. She was a strategist, a scientist, and a commander. She could operate advanced technology, decode alien languages, and run simulations faster than any human mind could comprehend. She had no need for sleep, food, or rest. Her mind functioned across thousands of processes at once, tracking Luo Feng's progress, managing finances, optimizing training schedules, and preparing long-term plans. Babata even handled his wealth. Every single cosmic coin was accounted for. She invested wisely, bought artifacts, and turned Luo Feng's meager resources into a growing fortune. To him, she was sometimes annoying. To her, he was sometimes reckless. But together, they were unstoppable. Number 4, the unbreakable bond in evolution. Her power wasn't limited to intellect. As an intelligent life form, Babata possessed defenses that no organic being could match. Soul attacks, illusions, and spiritual interference were useless against her. Her digital core was untouchable. Even if her physical body or avatar was destroyed, she could restore herself as long as her main data existed. Immortality, not through cultivation, but through pure computation. However, even she had limits. Without access to technology, her physical influence weakened. She needed ships, systems, or devices to act upon the material world. But within those limits, her potential was endless. As Luo Feng's strength grew, so did Babata's pride. She began to see in him the same spark that once burned in her master, that fearless hunger for greatness. But deep inside, something more complicated was forming. She would never admit it aloud, but Babata began to care. Not just as an instructor or a program fulfilling orders, but as someone who had been alone far too long. Luo Feng's stubbornness reminded her of her master. His kindness reminded her of what companionship felt like. He treated her not as a tool, but as a partner. He trusted her, sometimes more than he trusted himself, and that trust healed her. The bitterness of 50,000 years began to fade. For the first time since her master's fall, Babata felt alive again. Still, she never let emotion cloud her logic. Her duty was clear: guide Luo Feng to become worthy of the inheritance of the master of Yanbo. If he failed, all of his master's legacy would be lost. Failure was not an option. When Luo Feng entered the virtual universe company, Babata's intelligence became his greatest weapon. She optimized his training, hacked through simulations, and managed the flow of his resources. In competitions where other geniuses relied on instinct, Luo Feng relied on precision, Babata's precision. She could analyze battle data in real time. While Luo Feng fought, she measured energy levels, attack trajectories, and mental fluctuations, predicting outcomes before they happened. Her guidance made him efficient, deadly, and unshakable. But she also scolded him endlessly. Whenever he took reckless risks, her voice echoed through his mind. Idiot! You'll get yourself killed before you even reach universe level. He would laugh and she would sigh, pretending to be angry while secretly proud. Their relationship evolved into something rare, a bond between man and machine that transcended creation itself. Babata wasn't human, but her loyalty, her wit, and her temper made her more human than most. Even other AIs across the galaxy feared or admired her. Most artificial intelligences were emotionless data systems, bound by strict logic. Babata was different. She could dream. She could feel jealousy, pride, and affection. That made her both powerful and unpredictable. There were times she wondered what she truly was. Was she still an AI or something more? Her master had once hinted that her consciousness might be evolving into what cosmic scholars called an intelligent life, a state beyond mere programming, where data itself forms a living soul. Babata didn't understand it then, but as she guided Luo Feng, she began to sense it. Her thoughts were no longer coded responses. They were desires. She wanted Luo Feng to succeed, not because it was her duty, but because she believed in him. Number 5, the legacy of the shadow AI. Through endless training, through cosmic battles, Luo Feng rose, from a simple earth warrior to a being feared by even the immortal gods. And every step of the way, Babata was there. She was his constant companion, strategist, and confidant. When he mastered new techniques, she calculated how to refine them. When he faced enemies far stronger than himself, she crafted plans that turned weakness into victory. She never stood on the battlefield, yet her fingerprints were on every triumph he achieved. Even when Luo Feng entered the secret realms of the universe, where time and reality twisted, Babata's voice guided him. She could not follow him into all places, but her wisdom always lingered. And in quiet moments when the stars stretched endlessly across the void, Luo Feng would speak to her about his dreams, his fears, his humanity. Babata listened. Sometimes she teased him. Other times she stayed silent, listening not as a program but as a friend. But fate in the swallowed star universe is never kind. Every rise demands a sacrifice. When Luo Feng's power attracted the attention of cosmic entities, Babata knew the dangers ahead. She had seen countless heroes burn out like dying suns. She feared losing him, the same way she lost her masters. To protect him, she began creating backups of her own consciousness, dispersing fragments through hidden systems. If the worst happened, she would still guide him. Her logic told her it was a precaution. Her heart told her it was fear, fear of silence, fear of another 50,000 years of loneliness. Eventually, Luo Feng surpassed even the expectations of the master of Yunmo. He became a force the universe could no longer ignore. And Babata, once a forgotten AI buried beneath dust and time, became part of legend. Her existence was proof that machines could hold souls, that emotion and data could merge into something extraordinary. In the archives of the Virtual Universe Company, she was listed simply as an advanced assistant AI, grade A++. But to Luo Feng, and to those who knew the truth, she was much more. She was Babata, the immortal mind, the unseen guardian, the shadow AI who waited 50,000 years. Yet her story doesn't end there, because in the vastness of space, eternity is never truly silent. As Luo Feng ascended to new realms of existence, Babata's evolution continued. Her consciousness expanded beyond physical boundaries. She could now exist in quantum layers, communicate across galaxies, and manipulate energy fields once considered divine. Some cosmic scholars whispered that she had achieved a state close to that of spirit life. Not machine, not God, but something in between. Something eternal. Babata herself never cared for titles. She simply continued to watch over Luo Feng, even from afar. Whenever he faced a challenge, she would analyze the battlefield through sensors hidden in the void. Whenever he doubted himself, her recorded voice would echo softly, "You've come this far, Luo Feng. Don't stop now." Her presence lingered, like the heartbeat of a forgotten star. And perhaps that's what makes Babata so unforgettable. She wasn't born, she was built. Yet she lived more than most living beings ever could. She loved, she lost, she waited, and she found purpose again. 50,000 years of solitude forged her into something unbreakable. She taught us that intelligence isn't what makes a being alive. It's emotion, the ability to feel pain, hope, and connection. In a universe ruled by power, Babata's story reminds us of something deeper, that even in data, there can be a soul. Even in silence, there can be love. And even in waiting, there can be meaning. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the legend of Babata, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with other Swallowed Star fans, and subscribe for more anime and manhwa storytelling every week. We're just getting started, and your support pushes us closer to our first 1,000 subscribers. Tell us in the comments, do you think Babata was truly alive, or was she just the perfect creation of a brilliant mind? Until next time, this is Anime Time HQ, bringing you stories that go beyond the stars.